So, all right, Casey. What the, beep, heck, beep is pop music?
Man, I think about this too much, far too much in my life. I spend too much of my lifetime. I've actually brought it up in my classes for my college students, music students.
So, all right, I want to bring it to a point, okay?
Yeah, so...
like a point of we're going to get here,
yeah,
and then we're going to go back and explain it.
Okay.
So I've heard that Michael Jackson is the king of pop music, okay?
He is labeled the king of pop music.
Right, labeled that way, as such.
Just like Elvis is labeled the king of rock and roll.
But he's considered pop as well. So
okay, here's the thing. Here's the dichotomy here.
Yeah.
You have popular music, which is, to me, music that just sold well, was played on the radio a lot, had a lot of acclaim, regardless of genre. Regardless of genre, right? Mm-hmm. It's music that just was commercially successful, financially, fiscally successful, right?
Yeah.
That's what popular music to me is. Mm-hmm. But pop, like the term P-O-P, the letters P-O-P, that term has taken on a different mantra in like the last 50 years, right? Mm-hmm. And that has become like kind of like a genre-based, right? Like, so it's like when someone says, "Oh, that sounds like pop music," well, what do you mean? Like, does it sound like Lady Gaga? Does it sound like Elvis? Because Elvis was popular,
right? Yeah.
So like, when it's just like go to Spotify, you see pop. And I get it. It's a mix of genres. And I think it's kind of an evolving thing. Like where what might be considered pop music in the 40s, 50s, 60s might be, it's different nowadays. But you're not going to see music that's sold better. Say like Elvis sold more records than Lady Gaga. You're not seeing Elvis in the pop. You know what I mean? So this is why it's always like confusing to me, like that there's a genre that's called pop that has, or that's taken on a genre like style. So like today, if someone says it sounds like pop, to me it's like synth dance music, EDM kind of synth based,
super diatonic
harmony, catchy melody or harmony.
Yep. Yeah, like on Spotify right now, if you look at Pop Hits 2022, it's The Weeknd, it's Justin Bieber, it's Glass Animals, Post Malone.
Right, but Foo Fighters are on there, and they sound totally different than those groups.
Right, and they could be considered popular, but would you call them pop? No. Why?
I don't know anyone that would call Foo Fighters pop music.
So I think I got this. Okay. So I looked at all of these different artists, like Prince, for example.
Yep.
He's considered pop, hip hop, rap.
Yeah.
Those are the two main ones. I mean,
he's also
those
R&B.
are literally the two main ones that pop up.
He's funk, he's R&B,
There's
soul.
some idiot that wrote that.
Yeah, he's funk, he's R&B,
the main
he's soul.
ones.
He actually hit so many genres throughout his career.
Yeah, so
most of them.
The other ones that really is the new wave funk R&B. And then we have other people. This is a perfect example.
Okay.
It is Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. Okay. She's pop because she has dance, electronica, and R&B. Mm-hmm. So to me, what pop is having an R&B blues, nice voice, these instruments in a dance up-tempo way.
But what instruments?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But it
doesn't matter.
What about ballads though that are considered pop, like "Shallow" by Lady Gaga? That was.
Oh yeah,
pop?
That's considered pop.
You know, so like that's like it does. Does it have to be danceable? Like there's all these
because
questions.
Ed Sheeran is pop music.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of slow ones too.
And then a lot of Taylor Swift's slow music is 100% pop music too.
Right.
But that gets into more of a folk.
Yeah, a folky aspect of pop. It's just there's nothing consistent genre-wise about pop. There's nothing consistent about genre.
Bingo.
Yeah, because even with like, you're taking R&B and mixing dance with it, that's the best example, but that example doesn't happen all the time.
It's not ubiquitous.
Yeah.
I think I tend to agree. Like it's so vague. Mm-hmm. It changes. It's evolving.
Yeah.
But like the fact that these companies like Spotify, people that play music, the radios, this is pop radio, and and it's always the specific genre. But like I said, there's all this nuance to it. There's no perfect formula for what pop music is. Whereas rock and roll, there's all these formulaic elements to what we know is rock and roll. I mean, there's subgenres.
You know what's so funny about that? I just looked up when was the term pop music, like, or pop just used for music, it was in the 1950s to describe rock and roll.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's like it's evolved. I get that, but in the 50s, were they calling it pop music?
Yeah, they called rock music pop music
because that's poppin'.
Or popular.
Yeah.
So today, is it not pop and is it bop music?
No, that's bebop.
Is it bop music?
Bop is bebop.
You
No.
get it?
I'm shutting that one down. Boo,
Bop
shut
is the
that one down.
mid-40s, straight
Come
up.
on, son.
That's a Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker.
Look,
So I get it. I don't think there's an answer. Is that? Can we agree with that?
No.
There's not really.
There is an answer.
There
And here
is.
is
A
the
dictionary
answer.
definition.
There
answer?
is a dictionary
in the
definition.
in the dictionary of Jack.
Dictionary.
Okay.
All right, mature.
The dictionary of Jack.
In the dictionary of Jack, pop music is music that is accessible at the time it is released. Accessible to all people, meaning like
And commercially successful.
yeah, I mean that's got to be an aspect of it because accessibility, when I mean accessibility in that sense, I mean it in the sense of how many people will consume this.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Right.
So it as a consequence, yes, monetary gains are
Like
a part
commercial
of-
success makes it popular,
absolutely.
but then as a genre, pop.
There's no genre about it. It's not even about genre. It's
Right.
about whether that music will sell a lot.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But the problem is, people are making it, trying to make it a genre, a specific genre.
Okay, I can
Yeah.
explain it in 3 words.
Okay.
Ever-changing popular music.
Okay, we'll go with that.
That's what it is.
It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with genre, though. We can all agree with that, right?
Absolutely, it has nothing to do with genre.
Nothing to do with it.
So thank you. That
'Cause
makes
it's
me feel better.
yeah, it's the easiest way to sell it, though. If you want to take like a whole monetary return on investment, blah blah blah, I wear a suit view.
Yeah.
You could just go, what is the thing that gets you the most money? Well, it's probably being the most general or whatever that you can generally sell to the most people. What's
Yeah.
the most general way to describe music? Call it pop. That's the most sellable music.
Yeah.
So it's people who sit in corporate offices. Those are the ones defining that term of
Yeah.
popular music and selling it. You know,
So, okay, I got a question.
sure.
Why don't they just call it alternative?
Yeah, that's another one.
That's got a whole like, genre
Yeah.
of itself from the 90s. And,
That's a whole nother.
that's
thing.
a whole nother thing.
That's
so,
a rabbit hole for another day, I would say.
well, let's leave it at that. Okay, let's leave it at it's. What was the definition that we came up with that you had?
Ever-changing popular music.
Beautiful. It's vague enough to satisfy me. It's not genre based.
And it's
The
all
only-
about money.
The only specific thing is that it's music.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
So.
great.